in getting some of those checks because of glitches involving H&R Block and some of the tax preparers like TurboTax. The Treasury not able to get that direct deposit out through those tax preparers, which serve as a middleman in between the taxpayer and the IRS in some cases. Also, some glitches involving dependent children as well. But the storyline here from the Washington Post is this will affect millions of Americans who will now see delays.
So they have made it official. There are several states that are going to send out stimulus relief. The checks will be coming out before the end of the year, and you can claim up to $2,000 in extra stimulus money. Right now, residents in 4 states are set to claim payments during and ranging from $75 up to $1,700. This is awesome news as the crisis is still continuing to affect millions of people. It is time that lawmakers start to realize that they need to take action for the people. It starts in cities like Chicago. Even in states like Idaho, Pennsylvania, and Hawaii have each given payments for locals that must be claimed by next week. The states are offering relief in the form of tax rebates and one-time inflation relief checks. And since the crisis, dozens of states have already offered creative ways to put cash back into the wallets of their residents. States like West Virginia are providing housing, related funding at homeowners, and facing financial hardship. They're here to help. The Chicago Fund is partnership between the city and the local nonprofits. It aims to give $500 checks to residents who have difficulty accessing federal crisis money, and also recipients must be at least 18 years old to claim this. But it's important to note that to be considered for the payment, Chicago residents must submit an application online first. The applications all opened on October 1st and will close on December 31st. Idaho is offering 2 rebates. The amount of each payment is different, but the qualifications and process to get them are the same. The amounts are based on the most recent approved 2020 tax return information on file at the time the rebates were issued. Additionally, the governor signed a law in September, allotting residents $500 million into special session rebates. The state of Pennsylvania's tax rebate program is aimed at helping older and disabled Pennsylvanians still recovering from the crisis. So while deposits were first issued on July 1st, residents may apply for the program until January. The maximum standard rebate is $650, but some homeowners may qualify for a supplemental rebate of up to $1,000. Renters and homeowners who make $8,000 or less also should get a $650 check. And Hawaii sent out its first-time tax refund to residents in August, but they're still going to be sent out to the end of the year. Hawaii's Department of Taxation said the checks were sent during the last week of August, but will be issued in phases. Residents making less than $100,000 annually will make $300 rebates, while workers earning between $100,000 and $200,000 are in line for $100. And for those who do not file an income return, must do so by January and December 31st. So prize bonus checks of $600 are still going out to a group of Americans before the new year, but there's specific criteria that must be met to qualify for the check. The bonuses come courtesy of the city of Denver, who decided to give the residents $600 checks to combat its staffing shortage. The city council approved the bonus and plans to fast-track the cash to most city workers by Friday. According to city officials, the bill stipulates the bonuses are an appreciation for their dedication and service in 2022, when staffing shortages continue to impact departments and agencies across the country, often at the expense of the city workforce. Those who had to work in person at least half of the time also received pay. And according to the city council, around 8,300 of city employees are eligible for the additional cash. To qualify, you must have been continuously employed by the city since at least September 30th of this year and also still be qualifying for December 30th stimulus checks. It's great to see that Joe Biden is finally doing what it takes for the people, and sending out stimulus payments is one thing he must do very fast.
Many of your editors and close friends have asked that before you return, you ask how many Article 3 judges have been approved for lifetime appointments by this Congress. The definitive answer today, authoritative answer, is 97. 97. 126 were approved by committee. So we have another 29 which could be called even in the closing minutes if there's an agreement on the floor. But we're proud of the 97. In comparison, in the first 2 years of my friend Barack Obama's presidency, 43. The first 2 years of the Trump presidency, 85. So we've done an extraordinary job in the Judiciary Committee with an evenly split committee. And it called for bipartisan cooperation many times. And we've been able to bring that cooperation to the floor because
Stimulus checks might be approved sooner than we think. This is according to multiple sources and reports talking about a fourth stimulus check being approved. And also, President Biden wants to do something for all of you that are on Social Security benefits. So continue watching this video, folks, to find out the latest stimulus check information.
Last year, there weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars people wanted to buy. They had the money to buy them. But there weren't literally enough cars. Because we invented those chips when we went to the moon, but we didn't make them anymore.
Now, supply chain issues, everybody, surging demand, production costs, and a whole bunch of relief funds all have a role in inflation. Many members of the Biden administration are adamant that the American Rescue Plan has not driven inflation. Instead, it points to the supply chain struggles and corporations independently driving up prices. The White House has also noted the inflationary challenges faced by other countries, arguing that it's not an issue of policy, but a difficult period driven by the crisis that many nations are facing. A month of negotiations on the Build Back Better bill have already taken place, but the Biden administration, everybody, is still aiming to work through pieces of the policy package that consists of around $2 trillion of spending and tax cuts. And with this month's inflation numbers at 7.5%, many people like Manchin are becoming worried about how the Biden administration will address the rising inflation before more economic troubles occur. Folks, do you believe that President Biden is doing all that it takes to send out more stimulus payments, or do you believe that he's holding it back? So it's been confirmed that Americans can actually miss out on an extra $6,728 stimulus check if you don't take action. So folks, the Earned Income Tax Credit is actually one of the largest tax credits that you can receive every single year. It's often overlooked when tax time comes along. And this credit, everybody, is intended for low to moderate income families. It's done to provide them financial relief and allow for larger tax refunds and the larger the number of family members. The IRS claims that 1 in 5 eligible taxpayers do not need to claim the credit. And miss out on money that they're entitled to every year. So folks, the Earned Income Tax Credit is available to those who file a tax return every year. The rules have changed this year, and the credit is now worth as much as $6,728 for a family with 3 or more children. According to IRS, that's up to $1,500 for taxpayers who do not have a qualifying child. Your exact amount actually depends on whether or not you owe any taxes. So if the amount of the Earned Income Tax Credit that you're owed is greater than your tax bill, then you will receive the difference. And I know many of you are wondering whether you qualify for this $6,700 stimulus check. Well, here it is. In order to be eligible to claim the credit on a 2021 tax return, you must have worked and earned income under $51,000. If married filing jointly, this number increases to $57,414. IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick actually said in a statement, there are important changes to the Earned Income Tax Credit that will help this credit reach more hardworking families. Last year, folks, we all know that Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan tripled the maximum credit for workers without kids, from $538 to almost $1,500. And about 25 million workers and families received more than $60 billion in Earned Income Tax Credit. So families who add a dependent like a parent, nephew, or grandchild on their 2021